Listen on Siegel Radio on ESPN Radio 1700. Now, live in studio, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family, your business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guests. Tom Tackett, Tackett Service Dogs is with us. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you, Ron.
Glad to have you with us. And Robert Mott will be joining us for our Wine Wednesday chat a little bit later. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Yeah, National Cheddar Fries Day today. Looking at a picture of these National Cheddar Fries, or the picture from the celebration link. They look good enough to go and get some of these even now. It might be a little early, but you know, you can never go wrong with some cheddar fries, especially after having National Amaretto Day yesterday. So Cheddar Fries Day today, looking pretty good there. We're going to post that picture right there on our Facebook pages, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. Boy, was yesterday a little bit of a backwards day or what? Looking at the sports of the day, Dodgers lose, Angels lose. Steve, sorry to report, your Giants lost. The Padres, though, what happened there? They won a game. Amazing. Not too shabby for the Padres, but the rest of us, we're not too excited. And thank goodness the Ducks didn't blow it. They've still got a little bit of life left in them for this year. Sports, got to always enjoy a little bit of sports there. I am a sports junkie, so what the heck. Speaking of junkie, looking at some of the news numbers coming out. How about some of the news? We're seeing that the Dow Jones up just a little bit today. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the biggest forecasters, some of the biggest investors in the world. Not too high on what our U.S. economy looks like. National Association of Realtors reported sales of existing single-family homes rose 5.1% in March to 5.33 million units. The expectation was 5.30 units. With interest rates as low as they are, 3.62 30-year fixed rate APOR, you got to wonder why housing is not going as quickly. Now, there are some people that have been trying to maximize, everyone wants to maximize the return on their house, the more money they can get for the house. But some of them have a little bit of unrealistic expectations and haven't realized yet that you will absolutely sell your house for the most possible money. Counterintuitive again, I shared with you at the top this backwards day. Counterintuitive, you're going to sell your house for the absolute most money by listing it for a low price. I know, counterintuitive, but the lower the price you list it at, the better price you're going to get. Why? Basic Economics 101. And you hear me chat about this all the time. It's called supply and demand. When you list your property, say you've got a $500,000 property, I don't care what the number is. Property's worth $500,000. If you list it at $550,000, 10% of the market is going to come and look at your house. People realize what the values are. It's not that hard to find out what the market is in any given area. Now, that's not going to tell you your specific property. You need to text PAIR, P-E-A-R, to 79564 will get you the actual pricing or valuation of your property. But go back to the same example. If you list that same $500,000 house at 475, 90% of the population in that shopping out there in that area for that type of a property are going to see it. When 90% see the property as opposed to 10%, guess what happens? It's called demand. People that want it, obviously, you know what? Think about any sale you ever go to. If Vaughn's puts eggs on sale for 99 cents a dozen or 2 dozen or whatever the number is, don't you think more people are going to go shopping for that product at that place than if they have them out there for $4.99 a dozen? Just the way it works. If gas, you see all the time that gas right now, and I didn't even look up today's numbers here in the state of confusion, but gas prices, yesterday we saw that it was $2.10 a gallon today is the national average. Here in the state of confusion, $2.77.6 per gallon. If your gas station puts gas out at $1.99, you're going to have lines all the way around. They're going to run out of gas real quick. Put it out at $3.99, they sit there forever. Same happens with your house. Put it out at $475 on that $500,000 property, you're going to get a lot of offers. If a real estate agent understands how to market properly and sell this properly, that property, they've created a frenzy. They've created demand. People want it. They start bidding against each other because there's only one of those. It's not like gas, 9,000 gallons in the tank. No, you can't do that. There's only one of that house. Bidding war. And you watch what happens. It sells $525, $535. Well, that's why we're seeing different numbers in housing. You've maximized the property value by just understanding how these things work. So what do you do? How do you deal with that? Why am I bringing that up? Well, the numbers are pretty simple. We could have a lot more housing in the marketplace, a lot more houses selling, if there was more inventory around. The people that are not selling their house within 2 to 3 weeks right now, the only reason is they're putting that $500,000 house up for $575. Nobody sees it. Everybody understands it's overpriced. They understand that the appraisal will not come in. They understand they cannot get their financing, so they avoid it. Now the homeowner says, okay, I'm going to reduce the price to $550. Still nobody sees it. They're going to go down to $525. Now the consumer says, what's wrong with that house? Why has it been on the market so long? Why are there so many price reductions? They don't look at it and say it was overpriced at the beginning. They look at it and say now it's a defective property, and now maybe they'll get $475, $480 for it if they really need to sell, or they say, well, there's no buyers in my area. It's not that there's no buyers in your area, you just marketed the property improperly. Goes to say with a lot of different areas. So now might be the right time if you want to sell to give us a call, 800-306-1990. I don't sell houses, but I will put you in touch with somebody in your neighborhood that can help you. If you want to know a legitimate value of your property, equity in your property, text PAIR, P-E-A-R, 79564. We can get that information for you as well. Moving right along. Anybody watch the news last night? I'm not sure if you could have gotten away from the news and not heard crying Donald Trump on the news. Unbelievable. He was out there chatting about how the system is rigged. Now, it's interesting in his speech last night. Now, he got 60% of the votes last night. Crying Donnie did not come up and tell us that the system was rigged in New York. Why is it that he got 60% of the votes and 90% of the delegates? Was that rigged, or was that just following the rules? We'll see what Crying Donnie has to say about that today. And obviously, Hillary, she had a good night last night. And we didn't hear her barking too much, but, she might have been out there doing a little barking. She won't stop this morning. Bernie, though, he went home. He's not sure. Bernie's got his tail between his legs, and Hillary, she's out there. Yeah, still barking from her campaign event. She did pretty well last night. I don't know if she's going to be complaining or crying about the rules not suiting her desires, but just where are we going to go this year? I mean, we've got Hillary might serve her first 100 days in a courthouse defending herself against the laws she seems like she's broken. Donnie will be crying about the rules that don't suit him. He might even have to study the Constitution, because if he doesn't know the rules of the Republican Party, I wonder if he knows the rules of the U.S. Constitution. I don't know, but we'll find all that stuff out in the days and weeks to come. Be interesting to see where we go with all of this. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, wine time. Ever hear of 22-0? I love that name, but we're going to talk about that. Thinking of selling, the market needs your property. We've got that going. The most common car repairs you have to make. I'm facing one of these. Don't like the idea. 35% of Americans pick real estate as the best long-term investment, yet Sam Zell says we're in for a recession. How are we going to rectify all of that? You can reach me anytime. Call the off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, the replays, they're on Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
What if your family business could help clothe a less fortunate family? Or your restaurant could feed truly hungry people? What if you could help to comfort the lonely? Plant sustainable resources where nothing has ever grown before? Or make a child's lifelong wish come true? What if all you had to do was simply do nothing more than what your business already does every day? Would you do it? Introducing Processing for a Cause, a unique program that turns a percentage of your business's credit card volume into ongoing donation dollars for nonprofit organizations and foundations. Simply switch your credit card processing provider to Processing for a Cause and begin supporting a worthy cause today. The process is simple, and the cause will change lives forever. Processing for a Cause.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel Radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime. At 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by VIP Mortgage. Yes, they are standing by to assist you with 3.62% 30-year fixed rate APOR. Holy cow, I don't know if you qualify for that, but if you do, what a number. It's pretty low numbers. I think 2013 is the last time we were this low. Most common car repairs you have to make. Got ill when I saw this because you know me, I don't know which end of a screwdriver to even use. But the top 10 car repairs in 2015. Number 1, replacing an oxygen sensor, $249. Replacing a catalytic converter, $1,153. Replacing an ignition coil and spark plugs, $390. Tightening or replacing a fuel cap, $15 to tighten the fuel cap. Now that would be something someone would charge me because I don't even, well, I guess I know how to tighten the fuel cap. Thermostat, $210. Ignition coils, $236. I just got this one yesterday. Mass airflow sensor, $382? Eeks. Spark plug wires, $331. Evaporative emissions, that probably sounds like a California thing, $168. Replacing the evaporative emissions purging solenoid. This sounds like Greek to me. I think I need a drink. That is the Your Credit Matters segment brought to you by VIP Mortgage. Red wine means it is time for Robert Mott, our Wednesday conversation. Robert, I need a drink after listening to all those car repairs. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, Ron. I know what you mean. I've had to deal with a couple of those lately myself, and we could all do an entire show on my saga of oxygen sensors and catalytic converters, but we'll save that for another day.
Holy cow! Let's see. I think you and I are both in the same boat. Let's get a drink of wine, and I think I saw a note somewhere in here about a buyout that Jackson Family Wines is buying someone, or what's that all about?
Yeah, the Jackson Family Wines, more commonly known as the parent company of Kendall Jackson Wine.
Oh, I know Kendall Jackson.
Oh yeah, one of the most ubiquitous brands in all of the wine industry, at least the U.S. wine industry. Well known, of course, for their Vintner's Reserve Chardonnay, I believe, and something I think all of us who drink wine have had from time to time because it's prevalent on most restaurant wine lists. But the Jackson family, the parent company behind Kendall Jackson, they've been on a buying spree for the last, how many years? At least 10 plus years. It seems like every year they buy one or two smaller wineries. Usually somebody of note, maybe not somebody I call a boutique winery, but somebody that people are aware of that make a solid wine. So anyway, they're in the process of closing a deal with Pinner Ash, and some people may be familiar with Pinner Ash. They're a notable Pinot Noir supplier, probably known for Pinot Noir anyway, out of Oregon. They've been a family-run business. They've been doing this for a number of years, and have certainly established themselves as a very solid brand. Certainly with a fair amount of craftsmanship behind it. Certainly well known in terms of producing a very good wine. Anyway, they announced that they were being acquired. Essentially, all their business assets are being acquired by the Jackson family, and basically, with their intent, they'll continue to market and sell around 15,000 cases of Pinner Ash wine annually. Now, this is something I always like to point these things out once in a while because many people have brands like Pinner Ash that they are labels that they're very that they really enjoy, and I found that these acquisitions with the larger holding company can be kind of hit or miss. Every time they go into these acquisitions, and you've heard it a million times, Ron, as you kind of watch the stock market, is, well, we're buying them for their brand, and we want to make sure that they keep their integrity and that they continue to do things that brought them where they are. Now, that's all well and good, but in practice, as we know, it doesn't always work out that way. So this is one of the
You know better than that.
keep our eye on and see if we can see what happens with it. But like I say, it's a bit of a mixed bag sometimes, and sometimes they do really well in this environment, and sometimes that maybe not so much.
Yeah, I think we all know that they don't buy them because they want to spend money. They buy them because they think they can make better money or more money, and it looks like the economy is a scale. And I think you're right. It's going to swallow them up, and we're going to have to look for some smaller wineries and not go to the mass market, which brings us to the other topic I wanted to chat with you a little bit about, because maybe we might be harder to find, but getting into the summer months and a little bit of wine trips, wine tasting. So I thought I would get some tips from you on what we need to do to plan for and execute a real good, successful winery visit or trip to wine country. What are your thoughts there, Robert?
Well, yeah, there are a lot of schools of thought on this thing, but they do have some common themes, and that's the things that I'll try to focus on. I'll start with one that's really kind of my own. It sounds very obvious, but and it is obvious. Have a plan before you go. I mean, some people like to be very spontaneous, but I will I'd say I'll guarantee you, but that's a little strong. I would highly recommend that you have a plan. I think that your experience will be better if you make a list of wineries that you want to visit, kind of have an order that you want to visit them in. Take a look at the map. Make sure that if you have an order of preference for the wineries, hopefully geographically that kind of lines up where you're not kind of jumping from the north end of the valley to the south end of the valley to the middle of the valley, back to the south, back to the north, etc. So you can make your time very efficient. But anyway, have a plan. I'm a big proponent of that. Of course, Ron, you know me. I'm a big planner anyway. But
exactly, it's the engineer in you, Robert.
But yeah, it's one of those things that some people that like to be, a little more spontaneous will think, well, that's no fun, and don't have fun at all doing that. But definitely fight your urge to be overly spontaneous and have that plan, the ones you really want to see. Here's one I saw recently in an article I thought was a really good one. It's not one that I had thought of, but I actually have done it unconsciously several times, is get an empty box for wine, especially if you think you might pick up a bottle or two here and there. Get an old wine box. If you have one of those old case shippers that has a styrofoam insert, that's even better. Put it in your trunk or put it in someplace where it won't move around a whole lot. And that way, when you acquire a bottle here or a bottle there, as you go through the different wineries, they won't be rattling around, and you have some place to put them, and they're easier to get out of your car or the cars you hire later, because they're all contained in one space, and they won't get broken, they won't get rolling around, and there's nothing worse than trying to clean up a broken bottle of wine, as we know.
Yeah, you cry a lot, and then you still have to do the cleanup.
Exactly. And I kind of alluded to this, but if you have the opportunity to, I would highly recommend that you hire a car or have a designated driver. Some of the best times I've ever had in the wine country, the various wine countries, has been when there have been a group of us, and maybe 4 or 5 of us, and we've hired a limousine or a car or somebody or a driver to take us around. That way, you just don't have to worry about doing something maybe a little bit unreasonable or with in poor judgment, and then actually paying for it many times over later. So anyway, good advice there. Go early in the day. I know it doesn't always sound like a good idea to be drinking wine at 10 o'clock in the morning or whatever, or tasting wine, but go early, especially on the weekends. You'll have more time with the people that you want to talk to. Many times the owners or winemakers are around early in the day, especially on the weekends, and they sometimes tend to disappear a little bit in the afternoons. I'd like to focus on the smaller wineries, and this is something that's really it's that way. It's a little less commercial, a little more personal. You see, you get to talk to people that really have a passion about their wine, their winemaking. It's not the essentially the Costco environment like that. You can be a lot. It can be a lot more personal that way.
A lot of times on that one there also, that goes back to Robert's rule number 1 was plan ahead, because otherwise you want to make sure that they're open when you're going.
Exactly, and don't be afraid to call ahead either. I mean, that's one thing that could be intimidating to people. It says, we're only open by appointment only. Well, 99 times out of 100, they're there already, and they're seeing other people. So don't be afraid to call ahead, even if it's the day of, and say, hey, I didn't really plan very well, but I'm going to be in the area, and I wanted to see if maybe I could get in for an appointment. They're happy to hear from you. Only if they're really, really packed will they turn you away. If they have any room at all, they'll accommodate you, because that's their business. They're in a very customer-focused business, which leads me to the next point. And this is one that many people miss because, and I can't emphasize this one enough, be polite. I mean, it seems really obvious. But I've been in lots and lots of tasting rooms over I can't even tell you how long, and certainly been in customer service environments. But you can't imagine how rude people can be sometimes, and especially in a smaller winery. You're probably talking to the owner, the winemaker, or somebody who takes this very, very personally, and you're probably getting the wine either free or at their cost. And anyway, I think it's important to remember that you are a guest at that point. And yes, they're going to try to accommodate you, and they're going to try to make you happy, but you are a guest, and it's like you're in somebody else's home. And you should treat it that way.
That's great. You know something, that's the key thing. I mean, you're there for a good time, so remember the other side, the people that are working there, they probably moved to the area because they want a good time also. There's a lot more of these items here, Robert, so I think we're going to have to carry these forward to next week. I think we only got about halfway through.
I think we did only get halfway through, but I definitely want to hit that last point because that's one I very much believe in. Treat people the way you want to be treated, and you'll get a great experience in return.
Absolutely. We're going to talk more about this next week. Thanks for sharing the start of this with us, Robert Mott. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. A lot to cover when we come back, so you better not go away. 22-0. Not the score that you ever want to hear, but we want to get... This is where you really want that zero. It's like golf. The lower the number, the better. And we're going to talk about it. Reach us anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area-trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel lending team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%. 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel lending team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel lending team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Are you ready to overcome your biggest blocks with money and time? Your solution? Big Profits Now World Summit. The best skills and strategies to double and triple your business profits without doubling or tripling the work. This summit has gathered 24 experts specializing in business growth. It's a free online event that's happening now. Go immediately to claim your free ticket at BigProfitsNowLive.com. Enter your name and email and receive these free video interviews directly to your inbox. Again, that's BigProfitsNowLive.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel lending team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel lending team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037 and DRE number 018694552.
37% of American homeowners believe they have over 20% equity in their homes. Fannie Mae tells us 69% of American homeowners have over 20% equity in their homes. Fully 1 in 3 American homeowners are not informed about the amount of equity they have in their homes. Are you one of them? How might this be holding you back from achieving your goals? Text RSR CMA to 79564 to get a property valuation from one of the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Again, to know how much your home is really worth, simply text RSR CMA to 79564.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime. At 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by your household board of directors, and yes, you do need one. Text ATP to 79564 will help you create that board of directors, CPAs, financial planners, attorneys if you need them. I know you need an estate planning attorney because no one's figured out a way out of this life without dying, so everyone needs that to take care of that part of it. Credit repair, insurance, real estate, all part of the household board of directors. Text ATP 79564. The market needs your house if you are contemplating selling. That is the topic today. Lawrence Yoon, Chief Economist for the National Association of Realtors. Looking ahead, the key for sustained momentum and more sales than last spring is a continuous stream of new listings, quickly replacing what's being scooped up by a growing pool of buyers. Without adequate supply, sales will plateau. I think I shared that with you in the opening segment today. Jonathan Smoke's comment, low inventories and tight credit will limit the gains we will see in 2016. However, the level of pent-up demand evident in web activity and stated buyer intentions for 2016, we should see this spring materialize as the busiest season of sales since 2006. Supply and demand, have we been talking about that a lot lately? That's one of the issues that you just have to contemplate, understand. And if you're thinking about selling and you want that bigger house, you've been waiting and holding off to buy that newer house, bigger house, maybe your kids are gone and you want to right size. All of that is an opportunity right now, and when there is a lot of demand, that is when you should act. That is the real-time real estate segment, again, brought to you by your household board of directors. Text ATP to 79564. Act. That's a good thought. And the reason I want to bring that up today is having a megaphone that we have, and we appreciate every one of you listening to us. If you're watching right now, ronsiegelradio.tv, we appreciate you. If you're looking at one of the replays, either on YouTube or on ronsiegelradio.com, we appreciate the fact that you give us this megaphone every morning. You listen to us or watch us, whatever the case may be. And we feel honored that from time to time we get to share services and events that really honor those who we are indebted to. We being me, obviously, because I get this megaphone, and if it wasn't for our American heroes, we wouldn't be able to do these things. Might be speaking German, and nothing against speaking German, but we could be speaking Russian or Chinese or something like that, where you don't get to say what you want to say. And because of the American heroes, our veterans, we have that right to say what we want to say. We have that right to go and do the jobs we want to do. To vote for a socialist if you want to vote for a socialist. Those are all things, the rights that we have. But we also have to remember that we have an obligation. And that obligation means that some of these veterans that have gone out and served and given us these rights, they're coming back to the U.S. now, and they need our help. They need us to be responsible. And Tom Tackett Service Dogs, is in to chat with us. Good morning, Tom.
Hey, good morning, Ron. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Appreciate you being here. You got an event coming up pretty quickly here.
Yes.
I love this name. Obviously 22-0. Explain that first, and then we'll talk about the mission.
Okay. Well, that's representing Patriotic Service Dog Foundation, and that's our slogan for the foundation, is 22 to 0, which means 22 veterans a day commit suicide, and our goal is to make that 0 by providing dogs for them as service dogs. And so far, all the vets that we've served and provided dogs to have not committed suicide.
It's an amazing feat because it almost sounds like it's too simple to be true. You know, I've talked to you, you shared that number, no vet that's got one of your service dogs has committed suicide.
Right.
I spoke at the end of last year with a gentleman out in the Riverside area. He's got the same thrill that no veteran that has got one of his dogs has committed suicide. What's the hang-up in getting dogs to every vet? I mean, to get this from 22 to 0?
Well, it's a long process to start with as far as training the dogs. They need to be a minimum of 18 months to be certified, and not every dog can do it, so it's a selection process to get the proper dogs, and then to match them with the vet to make sure it's a good fit. So it's quite a process, really, and we're trying to do as best we can. We right now have 29 dogs in our program, and 17 of those we're still training at no charge because our foundation still doesn't have enough money to provide all of the services, so to support it.
So obviously, I guess it's from what I'm hearing, then one of the issues is you got to get more money in so that you can have more people to train more dogs.
Correct.
And when you think about it, you know, you've got 17 dogs. You said 17 you're training right now?
29 in the program,
29.
and 17 of those we're doing at no charge.
So 29 dogs is obviously a very small number. I mean, it's a lot for an organization because
Right.
I've been told, and I don't know the exact numbers, training a dog is expensive.
It is. It's a minimum of $20,000 per dog, typically. It can vary a little bit, but that's a pretty standard number across the country. Even you can check, but it's expensive, and so there's a lot to it. It's a long process, like I said, so it's difficult. So that's why we do need more funding and more people aware of our program.
So the event you've got coming up, May 21st and 22nd, I've got my
Yes.
glasses on so I can explain this. I mean, this sounds like an awesome event.
Yes, it's called the America Ride and Music Festival, and it's going to be on Armed Forces Day, May 21st, and then also May 22nd, Sunday. And it's going to be Lifestyle Cycles in Anaheim is sponsoring, along with Quick Throttle Magazine. And the ride is going to start from Lifestyle in Anaheim and be escorted by the Highway Patrol and led by Anaheim fire truck. And so it's actually the freeway is actually going to be blocked off for us, so we can go down the freeway without having to stop or do anything, of course.
So explain for a simple guy like me, because you're sharing that it takes 18 months to certify a dog. What does that mean? What goes into that in order that it takes that long?
Well, a dog, to clarify what a service dog is, it's a dog that is trained to do minimum of three tasks that minimizes a person's handicap. Okay, so most of what we train are PTSD service dogs and mobility. And so the PTSD veterans don't like somebody up real close to them. So we teach the dog to step in front and block. So if you say block, the dog will step in front of you and give a buffer between you and that person. Also, if you're at the ATM or checking out at a cash register, they don't really like anybody behind them real close. So we have the dog, you say, cover me, and the dog comes around to the right side of you and faces your back and covers your back. They also will turn on lights if you need, and they also, one of the big ones is interrupt. So if you're having a nightmare or a flashback, the dog will come over and interrupt you and get you back into the present here and now.
That's amazing. And, you know, having the opportunity and the good fortune of chatting with so many veterans and police officers, you don't realize that the concept here, when you were talking about the cover me, I think is the term you used.
Yes.
That when you go to a restaurant with a police officer, or in many instances with a veteran, you know, you always watch where they want to sit.
Yep.
Right? I mean, I've never seen a police officer or veteran that wants to face the wall.
Right.
They want their back to the wall, so they.
Yep.
And amazing how the dogs can help with that comfort level for them.
Right. Absolutely.
Does it give them a sense or an ability to? I love the interrupt one also. I mean, right?
Yeah, that's my favorite. It's amazing to watch it.
Yeah, and so how does the dog sense this?
Well, there's different signals, and so we ask the veteran, what is your signal, or what do you do prior to having an episode? And sometimes they don't know.
I was going to say, how would they know?
Yeah. So we have to ask their family member or a friend. But typically, it's put your hands over your face like you're struggling, okay, or going to cry. And that's the signal to the dog to come jump up and lick you and kiss you. Another one of our veterans does this. He does on his leg. He taps his fingers on his leg. The dog will come running over. Another Army veteran, she kind of starts fiddling with her thumbs, and her dog will come flying over and interrupt her. Another one of our girls that we're working with, she's also hard of hearing. And a lot of them with the TBI, traumatic brain injury, comes along with sometimes lack of hearing to a degree. And so when we say her name, if she's walking along with her dog, if we say her name, the dog will tap her on her leg with her paw and say, hey, basically you're being called.
That's amazing. So it's not really like we're going to talk more about this, because I thought that maybe it was like a factory that you can train the dogs and they all do the same thing, same time, but it sounds like it's a whole lot more customized.
Yes, it is.
And we're going to want to learn more about that as well. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. More with Tom Tackett, Tackett Service Dogs. The event is 22-0. May 21st, May 22nd. We'll talk more about that as well. And is there a recession on our horizon? We'll chat about that. Major Investor says that maybe there is. We'll talk about it. You can reach us anytime. Call the off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel #1, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area-trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Isn't it time you found out the truth about FHA-insured home equity conversion? No, it's not your grandfather's reverse mortgage. This just may be the finest financial planning strategy available for all homeowners of retirement age. Helping protect what you've earned is the job of your board of directors with continued education. Major research has shown that using a HECM will significantly enhance the success rate of a retiree's portfolio and legacy. Please allow us to educate. For your complimentary consultation, call Jay Kaplan at 949-300-3855. That's 949-300-3855.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL lendingteam.com, or simply call 800-306-1990.
You have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership. What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
Lexus Carlsbad and Lexus Escondido offer you big savings on over 900 new Lexuses. Save at twicetheselection.com or visit Lexus Carlsbad and Lexus Escondido today.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Word on Wealth segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. They all are. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has that solution for you. You just have to go to the website, check it out. Top two buttons on the left, top two on the left rows. One's an annual program, one's a monthly program, both to help you correct your credit scores. So 35% of Americans pick real estate as the best long-term investment. That means the other 65% are not listening to Ron Siegel Radio. For shame on them. Because there's no question that real estate is the best long-term investment. None of the other investments get you any kind of leverage. When you buy a house, put 10% down, put 20% down. We're looking at appreciation this year of 7% according to CoreLogic. That means at 10% down, that's 70% return on your capital. You're not going to get that in the stock market. You're not going to get that in gold. You're certainly not going to get it in CDs. Stocks, people came up with 22%, or they feel that that's the best investment. Some feel gold, 17% is the best investment. Savings accounts and CDs, 7% for bonds. I don't know what kind of bonds you're going to get a good return on right now. Real estate, that is where you want to be, and especially if you believe Sam Zell. Who is Sam Zell? Sam Zell is one of the biggest investors, billionaire investor. He predicted a top in the last commercial real estate cycle, says the U.S. is heading towards recession because of global economic pressures. Well, we're the best economy out of a bunch of real poor economies. What are you doing to protect yourself? That's the question I have. Now, I share all the time. If you are a stock investor and that's what you do as a full-time vocation, that makes sense. 401k, IRA, a armchair stock picker. That's a good way to just get your money taken away from you and given to one of these billionaire investors. Put your money in better solutions. I can share those with you. I don't sell them, but I do have experience. Got licensed to Merrill Lynch back in the 90s. So think about don't have those licenses anymore. Now I can tell you what I really think instead of what somebody else wants you to be told. Without the licenses, you're a lot freer. Just a thought for you. That's the Word on Wealth segment, again, brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. So we're talking to Tom Tackett this morning, Tackett Service Dogs. So we're looking here at the American Ride and Music Festival. A lot of festivals going on right now. Coachella's going on right now. Stagecoach is coming up. I wish they would put a bucket out there for every beer that a person drinks at Coachella and Stagecoach, that $1 goes to a veterans organization. Can you imagine how much money that would raise?
I like that idea. Let's work on that.
Right? I mean, isn't that amazing? If $1, even if it was a half a dollar.
Let's approach Coachella next year.
Yeah, isn't it amazing? American Ride and Music Festival, May 21, May 22. Tell us a little bit about the event. It starts off and where it starts, where it's ending, what's going to happen.
It's sponsored by Lifestyle Cycles and Quick Throttle Magazine, and Lifestyle Cycles is in Anaheim off of State College and the 91. And Junior has gone absolutely crazy about getting this event going, and he is the owner of Lifestyle. And the ride is going to start at Lifestyle Cycles and goes out to Lake Irvine. And it's going to be escorted by the Highway Patrol and led by an Anaheim fire truck.
So Lifestyle Cycles,
Yes.
And you said where's that at?
In Anaheim, State College in the 91.
State College and the 90. So that's where all that construction's going on over there.
Yes.
Cool. So then they're going to close down the freeway or close down a portion of it.
Actually going to close down State College so we can stage the bikes. And then we'll start from there. And then the Highway Patrol is going to actually do an escort and have a lead car that's blocking the freeway for us. So it'll be a clear ride, and then come up to Imperial and then out to Lake Irvine. So we're hoping to have actually like a parade route and people on the streets and waving flags and cheering us on.
That'd be great. You know, I'm going to talk to our friends over at Canyon High School and the businesses around there. Come over and join us here in this area, because this is right on the route. As they come off the freeway, our friends over at Board and Brew Restaurant will be right over there. They tore down the old Foxfire. Gosh only knows what's in that area. But think about that concept, is just lining the road for this event.
Yes, and it's to benefit the Patriotic Service Dog Foundation.
And a great organization. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, you were saying earlier, Tom, 29 dogs in training, $20,000 a dog. That's over $500,000 needed. Got an 18-month project. Now, before we went to break, I was a little ignorant, I guess. Maybe I'm a lot ignorant in a lot of areas. But you were shedding some light on the idea, because I thought, to me, you know, I just looked at it and said, okay, Henry Ford would have been able to get a bunch of dogs trained in a short period of time, right, with the old assembly line.
Right.
But that's really a myth, based on what you were sharing, that some people, their trigger is covering their eyes and some was tapping on their thigh.
Right.
So every dog has to really be trained with the veteran that they're going to service.
Yes, it's individualized, so that's part of the process for sure. And so whatever the vet needs, if it's something that is logical and suitable for really the work, then we'll be glad to do it and figure out a way to train it if we haven't done it before. Sometimes they'll come up with a little bit of far-fetched ideas, and we just say, no, that's not practical. But typically it's whatever their signal is and their trigger is, we teach the dog to recognize that and respond to it by coming over and licking them and kissing them and bringing them back to the present.
So, again, for the ignorant, me, and I'm assuming maybe there's some of you out there that are ignorant to this as well, I go to sleep, and you know, I've got a black lab. She sleeps right at the side of my bed all the time.
Right.
And if my dog was trained, and I would go to cover my face, half the time my dog's sleeping at the same time I am. Heck, she snores louder than I do.
Right.
Do they wake? What wakes them up?
Well, typically, if it's at night like that, they're making noise. The veteran's making noise, you know, moaning, groaning, whatever, rolling around, and that will disturb the dog, and then they will jump up. And if need to, we will teach the dog to turn the light on first, and then wake them up and bring them out of it, so they wake up in the light instead of in the dark.
It's just fascinating. I had a business, a industrial building many years ago, and we were broken into, and the police sent the canine units in.
Right.
And then they came back, and when we went in the building the first time, it was amazing what we saw that the dogs had done. Opening up every cabinet, turning on all the lights, 20,000 square foot warehouse. And the dogs, I mean, they were everywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I had the police contract in Orange in the 80s, and it's a whole different type of training, but it's a lot of fun.
Well, but I think the concept that I'm getting at is, if they've got a great service like yours, the dogs can be trained to really do a lot of really, really good things for our society.
Yeah, another thing that we teach the dogs a lot is to what is called brace. So a lot of the veterans, again, have various injuries, and so we'll teach the dog to brace for them, so if they need stability, they can lean on the dog or actually pull themselves up on the dog if they fall. Going up and down stairs, the dog will walk right with them, and you could put one hand on the dog as you go, almost like a cane. And
got to be a big dog.
Yes, we need a bigger dog for that in most cases.
Now, I thought I saw on here somewhere that you've got a Grand Marshal that's pretty well known in Anaheim. Is it
Bruno.
Grand Marshal?
Bruno.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be the Grand Marshal for the American Ride.
Bruno is, and get to tell Bruno's story, Tom. I mean, that's just an amazing story.
Well, he was shot on duty and saved his handler, and he really became pretty well known in the area here. And he had went through several surgeries, and he's up and running now, but he's, of course, retired and has become like an ambassador. So we're going to use him as our... we're honored to have him.
Yeah,
and it's great.
Yeah, I've met Bruno. Unbelievable dog. I think, and I may be wrong, don't quote me on this, but I believe that the Anaheim Police Department feels that Bruno saved 3 officers' lives while Bruno got shot in the line of duty.
Yes.
I mean, just an amazing story about what some of these service animals can do. And I'm going to really highly suggest, I'm going to post a lot of this information, Ron Siegel Radio on Facebook. Get the information, get involved, join the whole cause, the American Ride and Music Festival, theamericaride.com, 22-0, saving our heroes' lives one dog at a time. Donate if you can't be there. We're going to put that information right there on the Facebook page as well. And be sure to set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to Tom Tackett for all that you do for all the veterans. Appreciate you coming in and sharing with us. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Steve, who's engineering us today, and of course a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. It's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions, call me anytime. If you want to participate in this event, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Our house in the middle of our street. Our house.
XAPA 1700 AM Tackett, Baja California.
You're listening to ESPN Radio 1700.